welcome back to the channel. Josh Helm here. You know, we are faced with so many obligations when it comes to things that have to be taken care of. It's just part of life. You got your own physical body that you got to take care of, and you need to be a good steward with and manage it well. You've got your kids, your family, your home, of course, your house, your cars. They need maintenance. They need routine checkups. You know, there's so many things. If you look at everything that we have in life, ultimately, it requires constant checks and balances. So I wanted to talk a little bit about from a standpoint of maintenance, like what can we do to do a better job when it comes to setting you up better on the residential construction when it comes to our home. You know, it's like we don't really need another thing to have to constantly be worried about. But I wanted to kind of give you some facts about what's going on out there when it comes to how much energy, number one. Some of this is kind of startling, but some of it is not so much. But kind of give you some ideas of things that you could do to help with some of your energy consumption. We are consumers. Ultimately, we're consumers, but there's a lot of needs. We have a lot of needs as people in this earth. The hospitals, the churches, the community centers, the parks, all of these things that are part of the makeup for our culture, for our everyday life, are crucial to and vital to our survival, right? I mean, we all learned that during COVID, how important a lot of these things were to us, to be able to get away, go to another spot, to vacate, to go on vacation, to get away from the hustle and the bustle. You know, it's a busy world we're in, ultimately. But I was going to share with you some national residential energy facts. This was somewhat startling to me, but the question is how much energy does the residential sector use compared to total U.S. energy consumption? And for me, this kind of surprised me because I thought, you know what? There's a lot of residential consumption. Our residential energy consumption only makes up 21% of the total U.S. energy consumption. And these are calculations that are based on the annual energy outlook of 2020. There are 121 million households in the U.S. as of 2019. Almost 70% of homes, 83 million to be, as a matter of fact, were single family in 2019. 83 million homes are single family. That's a lot of homes, guys. So calculations based on this say that 21 million homes were constructed between 2000 and the year 2015. That's about 18% of all households in the U.S. during that season. So how much energy does the average U.S. household consume? And how is this energy used? And I'm sharing this off of the rpsc.energy.gov. Just some random information that I found here. But basically, the average U.S. household uses about 77 million thermal units in 2015. Nearly 50% more energy than the average car in a year. Homes built since 2000 consume the same amount of energy as one built in the 1960s, while being on average of 27% larger. What does that mean? That means that our energy efficiency is getting a little bit better when it's comparable to the way that homes used to be set up. How much savings are possible through upgrades? How much can a homeowner save by installing insulation and reducing air leaks? These are some of the things that we're trying to look at. So to increase a home's insulation and reducing air leaks is one of the most cost-effective ways to reduce energy waste. Proper insulation and air sealing techniques can typically achieve whole house energy savings from 10 to 20% over pre-upgrade energy usage. In older homes and homes with little or no insulation, savings could be much higher. So ideally, because of the energy codes and some of the requirements that are going on that regard, some of these steps are already being taken care of when it comes to your consumptions. But what it's saying is that we could do better. So the approach that we like to take is to say, hey, for barndominium homes, what we're building, like, let's focus on having a really good system when it comes to air sealing techniques, and at least having non-leaky windows and these kind of things as best as we can. By doing that, you can save up to like 30% on your energy. So this is kind of what you're looking at when it comes to savings. And the average person on energy consumptions, like I said, if it's making up 4% of your income, that could be, anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000 a year, depending on whatever the average income might be. If it's $100,000 dual household income, it could be that would be around $4,000. If the two in the household are working, it could be anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000, depending on what it costs to maintain the home, or the size of the home is what I'm trying to say. But like, I'll be honest with you, I've got a terrible, inefficient home, and before I did some things to help with that, I saw expenses of like $800 a month for electric bills sometimes. And we do have a 3,000 to 4,000 square foot home. Because there's 4 of us, there's 6 of us counting all our kids, but so we're consuming a lot. We have a lot of energy, and I did an energy study on this. This is a conventional frame home that we have, that we got a really good deal on, but it was terribly inefficient when we bought it. Whatever techniques they were using in 1997 weren't good enough. Let me tell you that, because we're pumping a lot of air. We had a lot of air tonnage. We had a ventilated attic. We were getting a lot of heat and cooled air loss when it comes to at the ceiling. So what we ended up doing, we come in and adding spray foam. We did on the attics. We did an energy study, determined that I had a circulating pump that was running nonstop, that was causing a lot of expense for this little bitty pump to run. So there's things like that we started doing that really impact some of our monthly, but I got to tell you, like, it's still higher than I want it to be. So this is something that's always at the forefront of my mind. And like, when we're building houses, our goal is to do things that we would do for ourselves. Really and truly, we are focused in that. We were going to sell our place, and we were going to be well on our way to trying to build our own barndominium is what we wanted. So we just didn't quite get it done before the market started changing, and we were finishing up on some remodeling, things like that. But nevertheless, we did make a lot of changes. We saw some reduced costs, and I would venture to say it's easily 15 to 20% where we saw an immediate savings from doing some things. So you always got to weigh out what you're going to do versus how much money it could potentially save you. But we dealt with it for long enough that we decided, hey, we want to do something now, because we're tired of all the expenses, the way that it was going down. So ultimately, consumers can save anywhere from, say, 5 to 30% on home energy bills by making home energy upgrades. What kind of home energy upgrades can you make? You can do insulation. You could help by going around, you could get a thermal camera. You can look at around your windows. Those are some of the things that we did. We added solar screens over top of our terrible aluminum windows, and that seemed to make a big difference too for conduction, because the aluminum was getting some transfer heat. It's really warm too, very leaky windows. Tried to seal up all around the door, penetrations and things like that. These are things that we do for our house, which is a conventional frame house. Of course, insulation, anything you can do there is always great. Air conditioning. So these are some things that you could do. You could update your air conditioning system to a variable speed where you don't have the demand charges every time it kicks on. That is a huge thing for energy. Your pool equipment, we had terrible equipment running the pool where we needed a variable speed there, because it would kick on and you got and then turn off, kick on, turn off. So those are some key things as well that you want to be on the lookout for. Anything that is constantly running, like I had the little aerator motor running for our septic system. It's an old style setup, this jet, I can't remember the name of it. It's very inefficient, but I had the energy company check that out, and they said, no, it's the circulating pump you need to focus on. So I'm like, okay. For our circulating pump on our water heater, what we did is we added a smart plug, and with the smart controls where we could set a digital timer on that. Now, sometimes if the power goes out, you're in trouble anyways, but you have to kind of deal with that. But if you don't have power, you can't have a circulating pump anyways. So you have to just kind of work with the water that you got. But when I first did it, I put in a manual timer, and when the power would go out, it would change the time. So that's when we went to a smart plug, and it worked brilliantly. So that's something that we still use today. So these are just some key things to focus on when we talk about energy consumption. It's a lot. There's a lot to manage. There's a lot to focus on. There's a lot of money being spent on the monthly. But if you could do some things while you're constructing your home, when we're talking about variable speeds, you're talking about higher window efficiencies to keep added layers of protection instead of having, you have double hung or triple hung. This is going to give you some protection from loss of heat and loss of cooled air. So these are the things that you really need to focus on. Your windows, your mechanicals, having either maybe hybrid heat pump type system. Though a lot of people like those with the water heaters. Considering gas for your tankless, for a propane or something like that. But propane can be very expensive, so you want to watch that. We've promoted the energy management system, the Get Span. You can upgrade your smart panel where you can control that. Those are ways that you could upgrade to a smart panel. There is variable speed HVAC systems. Mini splits kind of come inherently in that, having the ramping abilities. Like the difference is going from a single stage one speed to, you could go to a two stage, or you could go to variable speed, which could have as high as 700 different speeds that unit could operate in. These are the things that you want to consider. Hopefully, if you guys have any additional things that you'd like to add below that you've done on your place that's made a tremendous difference, then put it in the comments below. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. We're going to continue these talks. I'll be bringing you back more in the upcoming episodes ahead. So if you haven't subscribed, please do that now. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. I'm Josh Helm, wishing you all the best. Thanks for watching. Texas Best.